Can you tell me a little bit about Joyce Kilmer Park?
What was it like going to Joyce Kilmer Park during that time?
Do you have any memory from the park that you can't seem to get, like you can't seem to forget?
Do you think the park is more senior citizen friendly or kid friendly?
Is there anything in the park that you dislike that you would like to change?
¿Ustedes tienen una memoria favorita o algo que les atrajo a este parque?
In what ways do you think Joyce Kilmer Park has impacted the neighborhood?
I used to go here when I was like 5 all the way till I was like 7. It was just me and my great-grandmother basically. She would sit on the benches and I would just ride my scooter around the park.
Okay, I was new in the building, 975 Walton Avenue, right across the street, brand new in the building. And I had my brand new Schwinn, bike with my little ding-ding bell on it. And one of the guys in the building asked, "Can I ride your bike?" Me being new, sure, why not? And he disappeared. And I didn't see him for like 6-7 hours. And of course I was heartbroken and devastated and crying and this, that, and the other. But he did return the bike back later on that day, and we became the best of friends.
I'd like to say I had one of my first kisses in there as a teenager, but I don't want to encourage any of you.
The other thing that I do remember about the park, number of things. First of all, there was flowers, lots of flower beds planted. And every season, depending on the season, they would come and they would change the different kinds of flowers that were installed so that it was never static.
I like it versatile. I like all different types of people.
Right.
It gives me more stuff to do when I come into the park.
Right.
To talk to different cultures, different,
Right.
and you get to know.
Yeah. Learning how to play softball right there in St. Mary's Park. Going to school at PS 25 on 149th Street in Union, Tinton. Learning Spanish. Seeing the free concerts in the park. As I got older, going to school with some of the pioneers of hip-hop, like Africa Bambaataa, Kool Herc, and all those guys. Going to, hip-hop jams. And just walking around feeling safe.
We were one of the first black families here in the neighborhood. When we first moved here, the neighborhood was predominantly Jewish, and we were embraced very well.
If a next-door neighbor needed something, they could always come next door to the other families. So it was a good time. It's a good time. There was no internet. There was no cable TV. There was no nothing. So people actually came outside and played with each other and knew who your next-door neighbor was and knew the family next door. So people interacted with people instead of staying holed up at home on the internet.
To not know history is to relive it, and much of history is very, 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 very unpleasant. So it's very sad that most people don't know as much as they should.
I know, I'm not sure the name of the statue that's in there, but it actually used to be over here and was just, in the last couple of years, moved down there.
So now this fountain has gone from Austria to Germany to Manhattan to the Bronx to the southern end of the park to the northern end of the park, and now on its way to Canada. So I consider it to be the world's most traveled fountain. I don't know how many miles that fountain has traveled, but certainly no other fountain that I know of has gone so many miles. But the point of the matter is, and this is what's very relevant for everyone here, If it weren't for the tenacity of the people who lived here, if it weren't for the vision of the people who lived around here and recognized how important that fountain was to the community and its history, the fountain would have been restored and moved somewhere else. Compared to other parks, Joyce Kilmer Park is average in the Bronx. Compared to some very high-profile parks in other parts of New York City, Joyce Kilmer Park's maintenance is lacking.
I think people in the community around the park have to be involved and be a part of the life of the park.
The street that you walk on, the place that you live in, is basically yours just as well as it, and you're sharing it with a lot of people, but it's still yours. And the point is that if you feel good about that place, you won't let anyone else vandalize it, and you won't either. And I think that's what started to happen here, as people begin to recognize that this is nice, so let's keep it that way. Why should we turn it into something ugly?
If you notice, when you go there, you see a lot of people go from the Grand Concourse to the train station, right? But it's rare that you see people actually stop, sit in the park, or come to the park to have lunch on a nice day. So I want to start encouraging people to come to the park for that kind of use. I would like to have some tables, get some tables and put in the park and invite people to have their lunch in the park. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bryant Park. I like to think that Joyce Kilmer is like the Bryant Park of the Bronx.
There's a lot of changes, yes. Before, it was nice and quiet. Now it's a little more, But it's good. It's really nice. I don't see nothing happening in this neighborhood. Bad things, no.
I think that we do have a lot of hope ourselves, because I find that a lot of people now in the Bronx, whether it's Morrisania, Throgs Neck, Co-op City, 3rd Avenue, Wakefield, Woodlawn, all these areas, I think that people are beginning to defend the Bronx.
The people make the park!